morning, everyone. Today we'll discuss about present tense and present continuous tense with me, teacher Liani. On this occasion, I would like to have a review about functions of present tense and present continuous tense. Let's begin from present continuous tense. How many functions do you know? Well, we have learned from the previous video that there are 6 functions of present continuous tense. The first one, it expresses about something which is happening now. For example, I am listening to the radio now. And then second one, it expresses about something which is happening not now, but it's still happening in a certain period of time. For example, I'm doing mathematics project this week. It means that we are not doing it now, but we are still doing it within this week. It's still in progress, it's still continuing. And then the third one, we can also use present continuous to express the future plan that has arrangement. For example, when I say, I'm meeting my doctor tonight, it means that I have already made an appointment with him and there is a plan. The fourth one, we can also use present continuous with always to express annoying habits. For example, I hate him because he is always mocking me. The fifth one, every time we talk about developing situation or something which is still in progress, something which is still which is still continuing, or something which is still changing gradually, little by little, then you can use present continuous tense. Now, let's move to simple present tense. How many functions are there in simple present tense? Usually, we are familiar with 9 functions of simple present tense. The first one, it tells about habitual action. I always sleep around 8 p.m. every day. The second one, it tells about the general truth or fact. The sun rises in the east and sets in the west. That is the truth. It happens like that. From long time ago, now even until the future time, it stays the same like that. And then the fact, for example, teachers teach students. The third one, it can also be used for schedule, timetable, and itinerary. For example, the train to Surabaya leaves around 8 p.m. And then the fourth one, we can also use it for giving suggestion. For example, why don't you and why don't we? Can be used for this pattern. Why don't you join my group? Why don't we go to the mall together? And then the fifth one, we can also use it in imperative. When you give instruction, you always use verb 1, or when it is negative, you always use don't. Stand up please, sit down please, or prohibition using don't. Don't smoke here, or don't park over there. The sixth one, we can also express ability using simple present tense. So the sentence will be similar to count. For example, when I say I swim well, actually the meaning is similar to I can swim well. Only the sentence structure is different, but the meaning is the same. And then number 7, we can also use this present tense for journalism. So when it tells about the news report, sports commentary, or you can also use it in the narration. For example, earthquake rocked Sumatra. Or in a sports commentary, you can say that Ronaldinho kicks the ball, or he hits the ball and finally he scores. And then for the 8th one, usually the meaning of the verb say is telling something, or in Indonesian language we call it as berkata. But when you use it together with the book, with the notice, or with the letter, the meaning becomes the content. So when I have a sentence like, what does the book say? What does the notice say? It is actually the same as what's the content of the book and what's the content of the letter. And the ninth function actually can be divided into 9A and 9B. 9A is about zero conditional, telling or expressing something which is absolute and always stays like that. So we use zero conditional especially for telling about facts, habits, and the truth. And the sentence structure for zero conditional always takes present tense and present tense. For example, when I heat water, it boils. It is absolute. Then you have to use present tense and present tense. It's not about future event. So you cannot say, when I heat water, it will boil. Okay? Because this is not a future event. This is about an absolute thing, or we call it as the truth. So one more time, when you talk about the truth, the sentence structure is always present tense and present tense. Another example, we can also use this zero conditional for habit. When it rains, I always wear a raincoat. You always do something like this, repeatedly, not just at one time. So you can see that the sentence structure is also present tense and present tense. When it rains with S, that is present tense. I always wear a raincoat. Again, wear is verb 1 and it is present tense too. And then the 9B is about conditional type 1. We know that in conditional type 1, it tells about the future possibilities. It tells about something that may happen or something that may not happen in the future. And because we talk about the possibilities in the future, then the sentence structure will be the combination between present tense and present future. Will, shall, plus verb 1. For example, when I say, if it rains, I will bring an umbrella. If it rains, you know that when you say if it rains, that is not happened yet. It's still in the future time. So we just make a prediction that probably in the future it might rain. And if that happens, I will bring an umbrella. So it is not certain yet. We will only do it only when the condition is fulfilled. So you must be able to differentiate between zero conditional pattern and conditional type 1 pattern. Based on these functions, we are going to analyze some sentences and then match with the definitions. Let's check it out. Here you can see that there are 7 sentences. On the left side and on the right side, you can see some of the functions that we have just discussed before. What you have to do here is matching. Okay, find out which one is suitable. Let's go for number 1. He drinks a liter of milk every day. You can match number 1 with correct, D, because it tells about habitual action. What about number 2? Milk contains a lot of vitamins. Which function does it go to? That's right. That is about permanent truth. Number 3, he is getting stronger. What about this one? We know getting stronger means that it is still in process. It is still developing. It hasn't finished yet. So it will go to G, changing or developing situation. Number 4 is actually not present tense and nor present continuous either. This is present perfect. She has just passed her exams. Which function do you think is suitable to number 4? Exactly. It will go to E, recently completed action. And number 5, she's having a party at the moment. What about this one? Good. This tells about a temporary action. This is about something which is happening now. So it will go to B. For number 6, he's always borrowing money from me. We can feel that, that the speaker is a bit annoyed, right? Because he always borrows money from me. And look at the sentence structure. There is always in this continuous sentence. So this will go to annoying habits. So the answer is C, repeated action expressing annoyance. Number 7, they are getting married now. It tells about the future event. Is there any plan? Yes. If you use present continuous, there is a plan. And it's not only about a plan, but you can also see that in the brackets it is said, have sent an invitation. It means that it has been arranged. There is an arrangement. So this will go to H, fixed arrangement in the near future. In this slide, again, we will have a review about some functions of present tense and present continuous tense. Number 1, Vera passes to Henry and scores. Do you still remember which tense has this function? That's correct. This function belongs to simple present tense. Which one? That's about sports commentary. Light travels faster than sound. What about this one? Good. This is about F, law of nature. We'll go to number 3. Spencer opens the door and sees the murderer. This is like the thing in the narration, right? So it will go to the dramatic narrative, E. And for number 4, he lives in Tokyo. Lives is more permanent than stay. So this is about a permanent situation. And for number 5, the film starts at 11 o'clock. This expresses about timetable, schedule, or itinerary. So it will go to B. And for number 6, my mother is writing a book. This is really a temporary action, and this is happening now. So the answer is C, action happening at or around the moment of speaking. For the next practice, you must fill in the blanks using either present tense or present continuous tense. Read the sentences carefully. And remember, when we deal with the tenses, you must be able to find the key word, the clues. The keyword can be the time signal, the non-ing verb, or your understanding about the functions and the meaning of the sentences. Look at number 1. I can't afford that ring. What's the answer for this one? Remember that cost is a non-ing verb, so it cannot be used with ing form in English. It cannot go to continuous tenses. So the answer must be present tense. It costs. It uses as because the subject is he, she, and it. In simple present tense, when the subjects are he, she, it, then the verb will take s, is, or ies. Number 2, look. After imperative or after instruction, which is usually, you know that it usually uses like exclamation mark, okay? It is usually followed by continuing action. So actually it is beginning to rain, but the verb begin or start are very special. Because once you say it, then the action happens. That's why we can take both. Begins or is beginning are acceptable here. And in the second sentence, not have. Have in English is always non-ing verb. That's why we will take present tense here. I don't have. Tom is lucky. He blank wear a raincoat. We know that the context is present. And from the sentences here, we know that it's happening now. So Tom is lucky because now he is wearing a raincoat. Number 3, not owned. Again, is the same as not have. That's why it is non-ing verb. You must use present tense here. I don't own an umbrella. And then in the second sentence, the key word is on rainy days. On rainy days is a habit, okay? It tells us about rainy season. That's why it will go to simple present tense, I wear. Let's go to number 4. We have time signal right now. It expresses happening now. That's why the first sentence will be, I'm looking around the classroom. And when I'm looking around, the following are all the activities that are happening at that time. That's why all will take present continuous tense here. Check it out here. Michael is writing in his book. Hendrik is biting his pencil. Veronica is scratching her head. Winston is staring out of the window. But then in the following sentence, the verb is sing. And we know that sing is a non-ing verb. That's why you cannot use present continuous here. You must take present tense. He seems to be daydreaming. But perhaps he blank think. Remember that think is a double meaning verb. The first one is really an action verb, thinking about something. But the second one is about stative verb. It means opinion. We can see from the context here, the first sentence is about happening now. So he's thinking hard. But in the second one, this is about opinion. What do you think Geoffrey is doing? Number 5. Not belong, not have, not own. Everything in English that means possess are always not in verb. So there's a book on my desk, but it doesn't belong to me. My neighbor Lee Byung-hun. Now we have today as the keyword. Today is for present continuous tense. So the answer will be is fixing the roof. Need is actually not in verb. So it will go to present tense. He needs. Again, subject he, the verb will take as. Number 7, the keyword for the first sentence is often. So Mario often tutors the other students in his maths class. And then in the second one, this afternoon is used for present continuous. So this afternoon, he is helping Felix. It's still happening. It's still in progress. Not understand is a non-ing verb in English. So you must use he does not understand. And then in the last sentence, we have a keyword this week. This week again is used for telling happening in a certain period of time. So they are working on. Number 8, right now. Again, happening now. I'm looking at Janet. This is an action verb. In the second one, this is a stative verb. She looks angry. I wonder what's the matter. The next sentence, the possibilities are she has a frown. But if you use she has, the meaning is a permanent thing. It means that she always has a frown on her face. It will not disappear for quite a long time. And then the second one, it can take a special meaning, expressing that she's not in a good mood. Probably she's upset about something, or maybe she's not satisfied about something. So she's doing it at that time, only at that time. And from the context, I think the second one, the special meaning one, is more correct. So the answer will go to present continuous. Yeah, present continuous with special meaning. She's having a frown. She's certainly not have any fun right now. Again, this is not about possess, but this is about special meaning. She is certainly not having any fun right now. Number 9 tells about a real dialogue between A and B. So you can see that the context is now, happening now. Who is that woman who is standing next to the window? Which woman? Are you talking about the woman who is wearing the blue and gold dress? No, I'm not talking about her. I mean is non-ing verb in English. That's why you must use present tense. I mean the woman who is wearing the blue suit. Oh, I don't know and I don't recognize her. Know and recognize, both of them are non-ing verb in English. The next number, number 10, is also a dialogue between A and B. A asks B to close eyes and then listen carefully. And then he asks, what do you think? Uh, is it more to what are you hearing or what do you hear? Which one is correct? Right. The second one is correct, okay? The answer should be, what do you hear? Why? Because the verb hear is one of the verbs of the senses in English. The voices that come into your ears when you use the verb hear are automatically taken into your ears without you doing anything. That's why we take it as non-ing verb. And then the next one, what am I doing? Believe is non-ing, so the answer should be, I believe you are rubbing the top of desk with your hand. Close, but not exactly right. Try again. Are you listening carefully? And then B is trying to guess. Aha, you are rubbing your hands together. Number 11, O and intent, both of them are non-ing. That's why we take them all into simple present tense. How much do you owe him? I owe him 40,000 rupees. Do you intend to pay him? For number 12, dialogue between X and Y. I'm afraid I've broken one of your coffee cups. It should be cups here. Don't worry, it doesn't matter. I don't like that set anyway. Again, matter and like are non-ing verbs. Number 13, we have the time signal next week. When it comes to the future event or future time, of course, you must use present continuous here. It's about future plan with arrangement. So that film is coming to the local cinema next week. And then want is a non-ing verb. So the answer will be, do you want to see it? So what have you learned after we discussed all of the exercises here today? The first one, of course, you must be very aware and familiar to all of the keywords in tenses. You must really understand what the functions are, and then you must have the knowledge of the stative verbs or non-ing verbs and action verbs in English. And of course, you must memorize all the time signals used in each tense. If you have got all of this knowledge, dealing with these tenses will be very easy for you. We'll have another practice in the next video. So I hope you can watch and enjoy the next video, and hopefully you can gain more insights about tenses. Thank you, everyone. Today's lesson has been over. Meet me again in the next video. See you and bye.